What date is it?
Today is the 26th of July 2015 on a Saturday in Auckland, New Zealand. So I'm here with...
No, I need to do the introduction. Okay, here we go. Good day, everyone. This is Dr. Gino Dean, the founder of the Universal Telesis 6 Institute. I'm here in Auckland, New Zealand, to do a series of documentary with the Moai history, all the way from Easter Island, New Zealand, and also to England. I have as our guest King John Wanoa. He is the royal descendant of the Moai Hapu, which originated in Easter Island and migrated to New Zealand between the dates of 300 AD and 900 AD. It was officially recognized that the Ngāpuhi Tahitian arrived in New Zealand at 900 AD. He also, King John Wanoa is a founder of the Moai Powerhouse Group, and he also is a Moai historian of New Zealand. I would like to ask King John the significance of this location that we're at on July 26, 2015. We're at 1 bar 61 Cook Street in Auckland, New Zealand, under the Sky Tower. And John, could you please share with us the significance of this and what you were charged with by the Confederation of Maori Chiefs and the date you were given this charge and purpose?
Okay, I'm John, as a surrogate King William IV spokesperson. On behalf of our Confederation of Chiefs, have given me the consent and authority to speak to the land of the Hapu here in New Zealand. At that time, the waka was Aotea, one of the 7 wakas, and so Aotea was here in 1100 AD. So between 900 and 1100 AD, Quebec was the recognised chief by the British and also the colonial government in New South Wales and New Zealand, the government in exile. For the meantime, the Hapu is supposed to be in charge of the self-government under the Section 71 of the Constitution, 1852. So that hasn't happened. So far to date, they have been trying for so long to put the land titles together into their own self-government Maori government and confederation state. So we're here on 1 bar 61 Cook Street in Auckland, New Zealand. That's the land is in question of dispute with the land owners, the Hapu, and the Crown Government in Wellington, which is the Queen's Bench title of mortgage lands. So that's one title with the Queen on this side and the King on this side, King William IV, 1835, Declaration of Independence, which is what I'm applying straight to Britain, while the incorporations here, the Hapus, are doing the Queen and protecting their interests on their lands with the 1840 Treaty of Waitangi and also their own native titles to these lands, including this one. So this is a model of the whole country under the Hapus of the incorporations, which have the license under their 1993 Maori Land Act, which gives them the license to run themselves, as well as the government has their right to run themselves as well with the same law. So I'm charged with the duty or the authority from the chiefs of the Confederation who have died now and left me all the information, including the original titles here of Auckland. These lands were gifted, and a lot of lands in this country was gifted.
And John, could you please let us know what that year and date you were charged by the Confederation of Maori Chiefs?
That was in 2008. just before the Lisbon Treaty was signed in 2008-2009, where our documents lead off into where it is now, at the controversy with title and interest, financial interest in these lands. That we have a native title on the bottom, which is the hapu. Then you have a layer of titles on top, which is the mortgage liens of financial interests. The interest will stack up, which is in question now why I'm here, because there has been mischievous fraud or whatever that have affected the use of occupation of the title. If that's challenged in the courts of any misdealings that the hapu didn't know about, I'm here to bring out that legal document that the Pope has destroyed. We'll talk about that later.
Yes, we'll talk about that. If you could give us specifics of the size of this block of land and the plans for it before you were given the charge to expose the fraud.
This here is a 2.47 hectare block of land that has not been developed since 2008. They have sold it twice with a crooked title, with a not clear title, because of interest with the hapu, supposed to have their names, the original names, on their Lien's Australian New Zealand government titles. They failed to put our names on as the original owners and skipped it to other pseudo names that they chose under the government in Wellington.
And who is they? Could you be specific?
They is the government, John Key, President, Prime Minister, and his cabinet government in Wellington, acting as a government in exile to New South Wales, Queen Victoria title. So the Queen Victoria title is the Queen, the King William IV, creator of the title, and the mortgage, and the bank loans, and the money, pound note, is the chief of the Confederation Tribes. Okay, so King, Queen, Australia, land information titles that are here present now at the moment. The King hasn't got any title. They have silenced them. When you go to the courts, there's a King's Bench court. They took the judge out and left the Queen's Bench court to collect the money for the King.
Okay, and we'll get to that, but I want to put a little understanding why this block of land, which is 1 Bar Street, 61 Cook 61 Cook Street, is significant, recognized as pretty much the cornerstone of the house of cards that you intend to bring down. But you shared with me prior to our interview what the Confederation of Chiefs attempted to do in regards to saving their land with the Sky Tower and that failure. So if you could just kind of put that precedence and now why this piece of land is key and significant and how it'll impact millions and millions of acres throughout the world.
Okay, so first of all, this title here is one of the Queen's 66 million acres of land that she says she owns. And so we're saying, oh, hang on, the hapu, the chiefs, have their own title. She has her own title, which is only a financial interest, not the ground itself. So I'm responsible, being real estate, to do land titles and identify the title itself and who stuck to it, who transferred from who to who. So all I'm doing is making them accountable for their transaction and using the security of interest over a native title. I want to make sure the native title has its own historic memorial to it. Like in mortgage liens, you have to have a memorial, and you have to have an origination of who you bought it off, and that's missing in a British title or King title. They took it out and put their ones there, which has confused people. And so with this land, it's going to set a precedent for the rest of the whole Commonwealth, for the whole of the state, for the whole of the land in the world with the Queen's head on it and her signature or her documents with her stamp on it above the judge's head, on the police badge. All of those equates to her interest in our contract with the Treaty of Waitangi 1840. That's her connection with our blessed, with her title to her documents. The other title is the King with his agreement with the Chief Confederation as being the one I'm talking about. That's been put away in the cover. So with this land supposed to be developed in 2008, they found difficulty because I was stopping from developing if they didn't show me the title of who they got it all. So when the beginning of the titles were the Australian came here and sold land, they had no authority from a sovereign in Australia that the British gave. They were not supposed to come here and sell these lands. And so the government says, no, we'll take it all for you and redistribute it with authority from Britain straight here. And so the two sovereignties now, the sovereignty of the government of Wellington, we've got a sovereignty of the Australian government operating their government in exile here. The Hapu had the right to administer these lands with their own sovereignty, which is what they've been trying to do for a long time under the King William flag. So the flag itself has priority as authority over any other title if they can prove it.
Well, and can you, historical perspective, I know you were charged in 2008 by the Confederation of Chiefs, but if you could take us back to when they attempted to save their land and title before the Sky Tower. What year or date and how that failed?
Okay, when they had difficulty buying the land to put the Sky Tower up, at that time the chiefs were having meetings to stop them because the land was shaky. It's supposed to go on Simon Street, up the other way. That's where they were going to put the Sky Tower. But they chose this one because the ground was more solid.
They?
The council, with the consent to give them the permit for the developers to build. Okay. The ground was solid here, but shaky up in Simon Street, where they are. So,
you're talking about earthquake faults, shaky?
No, the structure of the ground itself.
Oh, okay. The geological.
Yeah, the geological, the rock
formation.
And the rock, because it's reclaimed land up in Simon Street where the graves are, and so they shifted the graves. And the ground is not solid because they shifted the graves. They dug all the graves out and put their European and British grave sites there. They took the Maori graves out of there. We're going up to One Tree Hill after. They dug those ones out too. They put John Campbell up there as their chief on the highest point and the highest point in Simon Street. That's why they didn't put that Sky Tower. That wasn't the year 2008, 2009. The same year I put the notice on them about building that. But they went ahead anyway because it was the chiefs in charge. Now they're gone.
But they failed their attempt to save that land before
they failed in their attempt because they didn't have all the documents that I've got. Right, the real estate and the origination of who's the owner. They played on the crown, which is the government one. There's several crowns. There's the crown of New Zealand, the crown of England, the crown of Russia, the crown of all the dragon parliaments. They said no, we're going ahead, and the chiefs had no power over legislative acts, even though they had the legislative acts of King William. They just didn't know how to put it together to keep them all. Now I've got to push it to do that.
So you were charged after the failure to save the land from the Sky Tower. The Confederation of Chiefs charged you in 2008 because of your mortgage and expertise in real estate. You were charged, and then they gave you the documentation to legally do that. So you actually have filed cases regarding to stop any development. And what are the plans to develop this block of land?
So here, that's what they asked me too. These people here said, what are you going to do there? So we've got plans to put up the original plans of the 113 stories.
113 stories of what?
Of high-rise supermarkets, offices, and on the top they got pit houses.
Oh, so you're going to take the developer's original plans to develop it. So you're not blocking the developer whatsoever.
They have a problem from when I told them not to build it because they'll lose it. That's why it's sitting like this ever since 2008. Okay? Because I went to the original first owner, which was a backroom deal with the council, and I can name names if I want to, but it's already online. That person got into trouble developing too many land up in the Gulf Harbour, and he was mixed up with another guy in Australia, Sydney, trying to develop this land. I said, you're losing, because where's your title? They couldn't produce a title. Right until now, why I'm here today is to reiterate back to that original notice to challenge their titles with the British title. So I'm challenging that land to build a project which has got an earmark. Then it was 1.3 billion to build that. Now it's more like...
When you say build that, it's going to be a hotel, high-rise...
Yeah, hotel, the whole complex, 110 stories. It's online, the plans there that they put on. They were pre-selling and couldn't fill their sales so they stopped. Right? So, and they had the problem with me, legal, with my lawyers, the lawyers and the native lawyers, to stop any development then. It's a different story now because the new owners are not developers. They're just car park people, and they're going to on-sell it. Nobody wants to touch it. The Chinese, what happened when they bought it?
Who's they?
The owners here now.
Okay.
The two owners.
The parking.
Yeah, the parking in Auckland. They've got business Auckland, Wellington, Christchurch. Okay. Car park. So the Chinese wouldn't buy it because these guys bought it for 38 million. It's worth, the government valuation is 58 million. So something's wrong. When that happens, the Chinese could have paid 80 million and still got it. They got stopped.
Did you say 80 million or 18 million?
80.
80, 80.
The Chinese would pay 80 million for that because of the location.
Right.
But the last owner, who I've got a claim against, he got rid of it. He didn't care what they sold it for. So he bought it for 38 million. He sold it for 38 million at auction. So he just wanted to get out of it.
He was a developer for the...
Yeah, he was a developer that put the plans together for the 113 stores, the first owner. I mean, the second owner. The first owner went bankrupt. The second owner came and bought it while it was still under dispute with me and the Federation. So the second owner got rid of it at auction for the same price as what he bought it for, and the government valuation then was 58 million. So the Chinese were at the auction, were told don't touch it. Right? I was there. Okay? So they wouldn't touch it. They wanted to just on-sell it to a Kiwi, to a New Zealander, and not to a foreigner, because it's got a problem. It's got a problem with its title. With two titles, British and New Zealand government, Australia. Okay? So they've got a problem with me holding the Confederation's title, straight to England, the original title.
So you have in your possession the original Confederation title with England.
Yes, and that's what people know, but don't know how it works. They do not know the ins and outs of the Manukau title. The Manukau, we're going to One Tree Hill, car-free title with that plaque that I showed you.
Yes, we're going to go there next, so we're going
to film that title that is in question. They took it all, the original, put it in cupboard, and then they put their Maori Iwi Tribes leaders in it.
So what you're more or less saying, it's a kind of a title shell game.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of moving titles, and so anyone that wants to purchase it really doesn't have the original title.
Yes, because they won't buy a title that's not clear, because it's got a problem in it. So the first owner had a problem with me of the title when he went bankrupt. I said to the bank, that title is corrupted, and so they sold it anyway after giving notice. So the second one saw the problem, and he got rid of it.
So that was never disclosed in the sales.
Nope.
Oh, so there's fraud. There's fraud in itself.
Yep. The whole layer is suspect with a corrupted transfer.
So the
land transfer.
Yeah. So this present owner bought it without being
told.
It was not disclosed in the sale.
Yeah. It was not
even
disclosed.
in auction. It was.
It had a financial interest with them. It had a native interest with us. So they are only occupying the land with a certificate, paper. Okay? We are there, when they created a King William title of Admiralty's mortgage, Lien. So they put a Lien on it, and that's how it started. Okay? So they've transferred that Lien with a problem all the way through. Everything is subjected to the first problem in the first place on record. In England, in the High Court of Admiralty, Judge David Lindsay Mackey has got that first complaint that was put in there ready for court hearing. So that is prime land in Auckland, and the Sky Tower was wanting this land for them, because they put a tunnel through.
Oh, the Sky
Yeah,
Tower.
they would have paid more for it.
Wants this block of land to
Yes,
expand.
because they put a tunnel through here and put the other hotels here. So they walked away from it. You see? Everybody walked away because I warned them, don't touch it. Because we have the corrupted title to address. It's not got our name on it. They are supposed to, by law, under the 1952 Land Transfer Act, they are supposed to insert our names, even though we didn't have a financial interest. They had to put our names on their titles as being where it came from. Now, they can't prove where it came from because they said, oh, the Crown gifted it and it was everybody's. No, it had an original native. So that's the part that they've omitted, deliberately omitted the name of Kapuru and Manukau especially. Manukau City, Manukau Harbour, Manukau everything. That name, brand name, sticks to this land. Okay?
Yes. So, no, thank you for putting it more in a conceptual understanding. So because of the failure to save the land before the Sky Tower, this is the second big piece of the puzzle for you to be charged to save this.
Yeah.
So you have the present documentation.
Yeah.
And now why this one bar, 61 Cook Street, is considered kind of the cornerstone.
Yes.
If you're successful in your trip to London, we'll go into that, but if you're successful with that, then it'll reveal the whole house of cards under these fraudulent titles.
Under the instruments of legal value of bank loans. Everything had to come from a bank to use the land as collateral as their financial interest. They have financial interest, these people in the land. It's suspected now. They stand to lose it because they ignored a basic law in the 1993 Act, the Land Transfer Act, that says the conveyancing lawyer is supposed to let them know who the original owners and put them in there. We tried to tell them, put these names in their title, and that's it. Because they wouldn't, because we can put a lien on it from selling. They sold it, and that's the offence. That is now attributed to our claim against them directly to England. So we don't have to go to it's set up online for anybody.
But when I want to take it to. I know you're going to London, but when you say they, can you be more specific of who they?
Okay.
So your plan is you're going to start here at 1 bar 620 Cook Street, and your plan is to go to London.
Yes.
And you have documents already filed. So could you say what exactly forged your whole plan?
Okay. So if we'll go back to where it all started. We have to go back to the beginning because they put our flag, the Federation flag of Authority of Land, in the cabinet of London. And so we have to go back and legalise it back in England on King William's land, Devonport in England, and Devonport here over the shore of Auckland.
Okay, King William's land, his land, is that where he resided?
No, that's his estate for the King's prized possessions of what he picked up using his Admiralty mortgage loans, liens, bank loans, and whatnot, to acquire land all over the world. So
this is Devonport.
Devonport
is the King's estate.
That's where everybody migrated to come here and around the world, where King George III set up his admiralty, but not the mortgages. Only King William IV put the mortgages together. That is the problem here. That because the Queen switched it. And Queen Victoria switched it with Rothschilds banks to make their loans work here as a model for the rest of the world, because they could not do the titles like this and the tree over there, the hill over there, the river there, and market in a small country as their model for the rest of the native titles, which they compromised. Our 1993 Invented Maori Land Act through Canada, Australia, and the Commonwealth, and Britain and America. So they're Obama's using our native title in the modern time for their new mortgage. And now the Pope's gone and crossed it all out.
We're not going to just get to the Pope yet. But what you're saying was why it's so significant, because it's the beginning actually happened with the mortgages through King William in New Zealand. So everything is modeled after the original mortgages through King William here in New Zealand.
Yeah. So that will go. That will affect every mortgage with the Queen's head on it, the Queen Victoria head, and the Queen Elizabeth head, and the King on this side and the Queen on this side. It will affect every land after this one.
And it's a 66 million
acres of land is now suspect of title.
So what you'll be going into London, could you please tell the court, not only will you be going to King William's estate in Devonport and put the flag, and can you explain the significance of the flag? Okay, so the flag will connect us up here to the Hapu Chief. And can you say what the flag is?
The flag is the 1835, I forgot the flag to bring it up. Everybody knows the flag I'm talking about. But that's the 1835 Declaration of Independence flag, sovereign, trading, international trading, bank, commercial trading flag, through the world, free passage. That flag it's got its power put away so that they can put the Union Jack flag there in 1901 in Australia, 1902 in New Zealand. That's when the commercial part of that flag started, but it does not have a commercial bank loan attached to it. It's only a native in the sea 200 miles out offshore that's stepped under the land, put a bar up on the shoreline, and put their dock box to put the people in there to try. Okay, so that's how they bought their flag off the ship and the mast at Waitangi on the Waitangi Marae, and stuck the pole there. They put the British flag on this side, and put the British flag and the Confederation flag here, and the Union Jack on the top. Now John Key wants to change the top flag and put something else there that's got no connection to the original British. So it's a brand new, it has no sovereignty, no monarchy, no nothing. So I'm putting our flag up the top at Waitangi by going to put it up in Devonport, where everybody immigrated around the world from there in that period of time, 1830 to 1837, of the acts of Westminster Parliament under that king to sail around the world under the flag, to pick up the gold from there or whatever and transport it to any country in the world. And we have that right. We haven't even used it yet. Our people parked theirs up and went to theirs.
Okay. So what you have with the King William's flag, you have the right of the Admiralty law as well. So
yes.
With you going to England, you're reclaiming the King William. This Johnson served as king as well. So once you put that flag, you're off King William flag on his estate. Your next thing you'll be going to court.
This is how it works. I'm going to raise the flag to make it legal. Make it legal in our Admiralty, because the Pope is getting rid of his Admiralty and his corporations, but ours exists because it's not reclaiming it. It's still there. It has not been changed because we are the only ones that can go to Westminster and change in Westminster Parliament, because it's fixed as an agreement, as a contract, a commercial contract with that flag given to us as a commercial contract here to there. Nobody else's business because it's private. Okay? The Queen has got a private business, and that's why no one can touch her. The Pope has a private business, and also the Rothschilds have a private business. You can't go in it. So we are the same. They can't come into our contract. They come in as a third party. The third party policeman came in here and went between me and the landowner and stopped it. Stopped me from going in there, and the lawyers couldn't do anything about it. The landowners couldn't do it because they had no documents to support their title. That's why the policeman stepped in. He's in trouble. He's in trouble. After the 23rd, he's really in trouble.
Yeah, we'll go into more specifics with the Pope and the recent what he's claimed. I think we'll go to another location for that.
Yes.
And then it's more of a sit down and get more in depth because it's a whole other layer to this story.
Yes.
So could you just say what you're planning on doing once you've raised the flag at King William's Devonport estate? You plan to go to the royal court?
The Royal Courts of Justice and the Common Law Court. We're going to set it up in Devonport on his estate land so that those people there are immune.
When you say those people, I don't know.
In Plymouth and Devonport in the county, because this is what happened. The Queen took the sovereignty and resold it to the EU Parliament, Scotland, Ireland, England, Wales, but left Hanover alone. That's King William's title. So I'm using the King Hanover in Devonport to use his authority, direct to here and liven it up. It's still there, but we had to stand there and put the flag up, then go to Westminster and report our position in Westminster where it resides. We're now going change the trustee, the head trustee of the Queen Victoria Trust, which is Queen Elizabeth II. She has skipped it to EU Parliament in Brussels, and as far as I can see, cleaned out the H M Treasury and our trust funds. I'm going to do audit the same title there as here, and take this over there at the same time. And this one here is just no different to any other title in England. But those people know that now because they've had plenty of time to see all the documents of what to do, how to do it, and this is the only way, the King's way. The Queen is on shaky ground with people over there, and the King is solid with the memorial of King William and the Moai statue in London in the Queen Elizabeth II Great Court. That's our memorial to Tahiti and Kupe and all the rest of the Admiralty tribes.
Yeah, so we're going to have
just
another.
to let them know, I'm here for them and not for myself. But you must have that and a flag. And a flag. The flag, you must have these three things in your document: a flag, a king, and a declaration of some sort to your native title. So this is where this equates to, straight here from there. In the Westminster, to here as being the original title given by Britain as gifted lands. Okay? So this is just one precedent. Land equals the rest. But when this one goes, the rest goes. Right through the well, the same treatment, because it's the king wants his people's wealth and lands and their birth certificate and all the rest of the land.
So it's a house of cards of titles, of fraudulent titles.
I'm going to ask them, where did you get your authority from and your sovereignty to do what you do to get all that money? And whose authority did you get from A to B around the world? You'll always end up on King William IV because those DNA X. Nobody else has got X that do that. Right. And so I'm standing here talking for him because if you look like a king, sound like one, and act like one, you must be one. So I'm just saying I'm a king for now until we choose the right king in England that knows his place. He's sitting 5, waiting, and all I had to do is talk for him till he takes over and I back off. Okay, I go back to my native lands and do our business as it was then, as it is now.
Okay, so you already have initiated with a particular judge in the royal court that's already been placed.
Yes, he's got the documents there.
Who's he?
He's Judge David Lindsay Mackey. He's the oldest.
Can you say his name a little bit slower?
Judge David Lindsay Mackey. Okay. He's the oldest senior judge with more titles to be a judge of the Chancery, anyway, a number of courts. He can do the whole lot in one shot. okay, the civil courts and all the rest, but the courts will understand, why we're going online to him. No, we don't have to go to his court. We can
You don't
do it
have
online.
to be physically. You've already submitted.
Yeah, online.
The
The Rolls Building Court in London is set up for 2-hour cases, and from anywhere in the world. Anybody can do it and pay the judge at least $13,000 to go straight to him. Anything over 300 million or more, we're going into big figures. That's what he's interested in. Otherwise, you have to go to the front court.
And your itinerary, you plan to depart Auckland, Lien, and head for London.
Okay, we need to go in August, before the 23rd of September.
Between August and the 23rd
yeah,
of September.
but we need to raise the funds to go there to put the flag up. We're going to put the flag up in particular so that it becomes legal in our court to apply and enforce our laws for him.
And when you say the flag, you're talking about the King William.
The King William
flag.
IV flag with the 4 stars in the corner and the 8 pointed stars, 1 for Queen Victoria and 7 for the wakas in the Pacific. All of Pacific Island, 1 each, and 1 for the natives here. So that's a contract. That's a contract from 4 parts of the globe, north, east, south, west, on the 4 stars, and the Red Cross of King George, the King George the Third for America, and that's the father of King William IV, King George IV, and Ernest Augustus, 3 brothers, and that's the title I'm holding on to put the Ernest August, and put him, because King William IV chose his niece, Victoria, ahead of his brother. So I'm putting his brother back in there because it's my business.
For the king,
yeah,
the male.
I'm going to male bloodline prevails in our Tahitian titles. The Queen has changed the rules for her people in her domain as being females and males. It didn't matter which way it goes. So be wary of how they apply their monarchy when she's not there. She's a threat to the British people by operating her business, her private business, to EU Parliament over the British and us. That's a threat for us here.
Yeah, we'll have a separate series on that. So when you file this and it's a 2-hour hearing and you don't have to be there physically present, with the judge's ruling, then you would be validating that the Confederation of Chiefs of the Maori Chiefs and Moai Waka would have right to this title. So in reclaiming this, the present owners would have to relinquish any ownership of that because it was never disclosed.
That's right.
So with the success of this, you're now going to be exposing the whole fraudulent, but what you're looking at is taking the original developer's plan for 113 story hotel, combination, retail. So actually the Confederation of Chiefs would be the title owners. Now, are you looking for an investor to build it, or would it be the Maori Chiefs would be doing the own development?
No. Put it this way. We've already set up a system of shares in the normal trust fashion of the Moai King William Trust. The Moai King William IV Trust is the entity for here, so they have to join that and take ownership with everybody in the world. It's part ownership now because the Queen took it right around the world, even though she picked up. We don't want to know what she did with it, but we certainly want to look at the balance of what's missing in the Treasury and in the Queen Victoria Trust. That's our interest, financial interest in everything that she's derived from Admiralty Mortgage titles. So I'm saying that with what I've set up, they have to acknowledge that I've got the chief signatures from Tiki Marae.
Who's they have to acknowledge?
The ones that have died, the Confederation Chiefs, the original founders.
Yes, but who has to acknowledge the chief signature? You said they have to acknowledge it.
Oh, the Hapus.
The Hapus.
Because the Hapus are acting in the Queen's side. The Queen's side. under incorporations, which are now effective on that side, but we stay with King as being the British.
Okay.
The British don't. So they have to wean themselves from that side to that side if they so wish. That's their decision. But the documents are quite different.
Okay. So for the people that are viewing, and this is maybe all new to them, if they want to support you, not only in your journey to London, and I think it's estimated about $150,000 for the filings and the trip there. But if they're also interested in providing common shares to the development, what their shares could also help support the travel expenses and the filing and everything's in place.
Everything that anybody has a financial stake interest in what we're doing become the shareholder owners in cooperative, not in corporations. Cooperatives own the whole business, right through the world. Right, because King William says, go around the world with that bank. Okay? Not just here. It's not just here, but this is where the contract is. The contract is here, not anywhere else. It goes from here around the world.
Okay. So this is a cooperative venture. And people that believe in this and exposing the fraud that's not only originated here, but around the world. But then they don't have to be Maori in New Zealand or Moai from originally Easter Island or any Indigenous group. It could be anyone in the world that believes in this cause and exposing and developing things that are going to benefit the community. And
So you had to have beneficiaries and people that you can't say one or two people are going to get everything for yourself. No, it doesn't work like that. But it affects everybody who might lose something that they've forewarned that if it's a title that's laced with the same virus that's gone through the will, then they have a right to go to court, and we'll shorten up the courts. One court hearing equals the rest. And so they can go and put the claim in as a member state, as a member stake ownership in the cooperative by joining the shares. Okay. The shares belong to them.
So this actually becomes not only a model, but it'll create a domino effect and then a template for others throughout the world, where the Queen has 66 million acres throughout the world to reclaim that under the cooperative. And it's under the umbrella of the Maui Powerhouse Group.
The Moai Powerhouse.
The Moai Powerhouse Group. Sorry. So I think we've got the basic understanding of your being charged by the Confederation of Chiefs, exposing the title. You've got all the documentation. You've got things filed in London. We just wanted to document that this is the 1 bar 61 Cook Street in Auckland, that King John has more or less stayed off any developers and owners exposing the fraud titles. Nothing was disclosed because it was original native title through King William. And we're going to go to different locations throughout Auckland, and we'll continue this series, this documentation. So it's kind of a back to the future. We've got to start with the historical documentation information to be aware of what's actually happening present and in the future, and how you can be a part of it, and as a cooperative, and invest in the share with it. So King John, we want to thank you. I know you've been a crusader in this and sacrificed a lot, but it's now, you've got a whole series of your Facebook, your YouTube. We will archive this so people can follow the years that you've been dedicating yourself to this, and now it's getting to the point, it's a critical tipping point between August and September 23rd, and we'll discuss the significance of that date in regards to the Pope and the Queen. So thank you, and we're going to say goodbye from 1 bar 61 Cook Street in Auckland. As you can see, we're right under the Sky Tower. And do you have any final words before we go on to our next location?
Yes, I'm here for the common people, the King's common people, and they need to own this. They need to own it because it belongs to the people that the King was passionate about, but it went the other way, and so we bring it back into order before hopefully someone else brings an order. So we'll order ourselves and at a fast enough of speed to get the information out, and I think you'll do a good job.
So can you say that you're like the present day Robin Hood?
No, I don't like this. No. Moai people didn't shed blood.
I don't think Robin did. Robin Hood?
Yeah, he took it from there and gave it to that, but it sounds like that.
Right.
But I think it's the people's choice, the people's power that will make it work. So we need you to help us to help you to make this a reality from this alternative way of seeing the new world or a new change. Be ready. We've got everything prepared for you. It's taken 20 years to put this together. So it's just you're going to get it in 2 minutes, flat, with some instructions how to do it.
Yeah. And my role as founder of the Universal Telesis 6 Institute is, it is education. We know that knowledge is power, so we are documenting this, and to empower the people once they have an understanding of the whole historical aspects of this and how it impacts us now in our present and future. And it is a collective endeavor that joining the forces, and it is for all people.
Yes.
King John has the title of king. He is representing the Moai royalty, but it is only royalty that can challenge the royal monarchy.
Yes, that's the only
But
way.
he is for all people. I just want to make that very clear.
And a king to match it.
And the king to match. We're playing a chess game, so please follow us along. We're going to have the pawns, the bishops, the knights, and the queen and king. It'll become clear to you. It's kind of a Da Vinci Code Moai style. So just follow us along and we'll help you connect the dots. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye for now.